Welcome back, adventurers. I'm currently in the process of wrapping up my D&D campaigns, ready to switch over to the new 2024 rules of 5e. One of my players asked what if any of the homebrew rules that we're using now will continue over to the new system. So after thinking about it and researching the new rules, I present to you 3 homebrew rules I'll be continuing to use as we transition into a new era of Dungeons and Dragons. If you watch to the end of the video, I'll have an optional rule or mechanic I've been using for a while now that I've not seen anyone else use in their games, and it's great fun. Rule number 1 is Streamlined Initiative. That moment that DM says roll initiative is one of those moments that just gives me shivers of excitement, knowing an epic combat is coming up, and nothing ruins that excitement like having to work out initiative, decide who's rolled the highest, who's next, and so on. I mostly run large groups of 8 to 10 players, so it's even more important to get into combat as smoothly as possible. I have everyone, including myself, roll initiative. The player rolling the highest gets to go first, and if that player rolls an even number after modifiers have been added, play continues in a clockwise direction around the table. And if they roll an odd after modifiers have been added, that sees play continue anti-clockwise around the table. And this is fast and simple, and everyone knows the order of play going forward. Rule number 2, XP based leveling. Now this is a controversial one, and some of you don't like XP based leveling, but it's a fantastic tool that I find a lot of DMs just don't take advantage of. Experience points are essentially a reward system that you give to your players, and you can reward them for doing things that you want them to do in game. Obviously XP points are rewarded for battles, but you can literally award experience points for anything. If you want your players to RP their characters a little bit more, reward them for that, and be seen by the other players to be doing it. And before long, some of your players will, want some of that sweet XP action, and they may just try some RP out themselves. You can literally use XP to guide your players in how they play the game, or how you'd like them to play the game. Now I do have my players begin at 0 XP when they die. Very controversial, I know. However, I also allow players to train players of lower levels by donating their experience points to them. And this has worked really well, leading to some roleplay where my players have filled in story details during downtime and long rests, where they may have had the fighter train the new adventure in swordplay, or some holy time studying with the cleric. Also at level 5, I allow my players to take on a squire, who essentially will be their backup character going forward. They can bring in should the worst happen to their main character. Players can indeed also train their squire in the same way by donating their experience points. However, I don't allow squires to be of a higher level than any of the other active players in the group. This just stops selfish players only training their squires and not their fellow adventurers. This is something I've been using a while now, and it works incredibly well, allowing players to develop their squire characters in the story even before they have a chance to come into play properly. Rule number 3, improved inspiration. Now, inspiration in D&D was always an awesome concept, but executed quite badly. And I would often forget to award inspiration, and my players would also forget to use it. And honestly, the reward for inspiration is less than inspiring. See what I did there? Advantage on rolls can be gained in so many ways, it's no wonder players just don't care about inspiration. So Wizards of the Coast must agree, as the new inspiration system has a much better reward. However, I took a good look at the inspiration system a while back and decided to fix it myself. I purchased some fancy gold, crit or miss coins as a physical reminder to me to hand out inspiration, and a reminder to the players to spend those coins. But not on just having advantage. No. I would allow the players to turn a failed roll into a success, or alternatively flip their coin to turn one of their rolls into either a miss or a crit. This has created some extremely entertaining moments at the table. There's a reason people like to gamble, and gambling on a flip of a coin in a crucial moment is risky, but man, it sure feels good when you get that crit. My players love this system, as do I. However, I've decided that any inspiration coins not used by the end of the session must be traded for either 100 gold or 100 experience points, again reminding the player to use their inspiration during session. I also allow the player to flip the coin at the end of the session to gain either 0 gold or XP on a flip of 1 even, or 200 gold or XP on a flip of 20. It's a system that creates fun and exciting moments at the table, and let's face it, that's what we're all there for, and it's definitely one I'll be keeping. Now, as promised at the start of the video, thank you for watching this far, I have a bonus game mechanic. Now, this is one that's definitely, it was new to me, and it was introduced by a player of mine. It was his idea, so thank you very much for that, Alex. You're a star. And I give my players the option to draw up a last will and testament for their characters, and if they do, I reward them with a XP bonus or maybe even a feat, depending on how good it is. Now, I have the players hand me a physical will I can produce in the event that the worst happens to their characters. Now, this is not just to hand out their gear and gold, although that is obviously part of it, but I encourage the players to maybe add a quest for the group. For example, they may want their favourite amulet taken to their home village and given to their father, or they may have a treasure map tattooed on their leg that no one knows about but the will reveals. It's a fun way for the players to get involved a little more in the game. For example, one of my current players has written a will in a language that none of the adventurers know, and so they will, of course, have to seek out someone to translate it for them, but not just anyone. It would have to be someone they trust to tell the truth and not keep the location of the riches to themselves or give a false translation. I of course don't make this a mandatory rule in my games. It's just a really fun option for the characters that can maybe take the sting out of losing your favourite characters. It also gets them off to a bit of a flying start with XP or gold. Thanks for watching, everyone. Feel free to subscribe and let me know if you'll be keeping any of your homebrew rules in the new edition of Dungeons and Dragons. See you all next time.